I want to do a quick little elevator pitch on green light hitting because I don't think it's necessarily fair to ask your organization to invest in me without knowing what it is you're investing in. So I'm obviously a big proponent of what it is that we created, my brother and I mostly, with the help of others. But I want to share the research behind it, why it is I believe in it so much, and maybe some suggestions that some other folks that I really trust and respect have said to me. So when we started putting our product onto the field, one of the best compliments I got was it isn't that your great players are so much greater than everyone else. It's that you lift up your average and your lesser players more than anyone else. And it's why your teams are so hard to beat. So I think that I would never profess to say that green light hitting would set the ceiling for our athletes. I think that's probably some innate characteristics. I think some people are just endowed with gifts that we can't recreate. But I would say that green light hitting might set the floor. It'll give kids opportunities to be there, to be whatever it is their potential allows them to be. And then what I want to do is just share 3 ideas that represent this. So what I think is so often true is I think what I call overcoaching 101 is overvaluing information and undervaluing inspiration. Daniel Coyle wrote a book called The Talent Code. And in the talent code, he basically said, look, your trajectory, where you go, hinges on how you see yourself as a performer, right? If you're in it for just a short term, right, like all the hard work and effort isn't going to amount to much because you're in it for a short term. But those athletes that see themselves as baseball players, those athletes that see themselves as hitters, they find way more value in their effort and their hard work than others. And I'll often say intent precedes content. And it sort of speaks to that, right? Like we can get them through the door, we can demand their eyes, but how do you demand their ears? How do you demand their heart? How do you demand the soul of the athlete? And so I think green light hitting is that very idea. It's what it does is it recognizes that every athlete has personal motivations, they have personal limitations, they have these things that are inherent to them, and hitting is a mind-body experience. Two people that I want to talk about: Bessel van der Kolk wrote the book "The Body Keeps the Score." Antonio Damasio created or unveiled this idea of a somatic marker. These things that sit inside us that sort of dictate how it is that we move through the world. And in green light hitting, I talk about a dynamical system. And a dynamical system is, look, we can't grow, we can't improve if we don't recognize that there are 3 things at play: the task, the organism, and the environment, okay? And so it is absolutely incumbent on every parent and every coach and every athlete to invest in the task, the organism, and the environment. And what green light hitting is it is this systematic approach to training hitters. So every step along the way, the task is something different. And I'm not saying that I perfected it, but I created a model that people loved and they invested in, and I would certainly like to share that. The task, the organism, all of us have these physical scars, these emotional scars. The body keeps the score. So we need to recognize that, and the act of hitting, it is a failure-driven idea, and we need to make sure that they continue to love the act of hitting. The coach and the parent, with the feedback that they give, can absolutely promote a love of learning, and if we can promote that love of learning, we can play the long game, and we can improve their trajectory. And then the environment. What does it look like on a daily basis? How can we create an environment that people love to grow in? They love to show up to work. They love to be where it is that they want to be, like with their teammates and with their coaches. So green light hitting attempts to do these things. And all I know is what I've experienced. And what I've experienced is incredible success at the lowest of levels. Right? And so Baseball is a survival system. It gets really, really narrow at the top. And I'm not suggesting there aren't better people at the top. What I am suggesting, at 50 years of age, going through this and still working with travel organizations and talking to them, this is the market I like to hit. I like to hit the market to create a foundation of growth, to create a love of the game. And it is way more than the technique, and it is way more than the act of hitting. It is all of it. It is finding this culture that includes parents, coaches, and athletes recognizing the task, the organism, and the environment, and desperately investing in the long game.